June 6, 2019. Dear Mr. President, my name is Philip William Swisher, Jr. I am an American citizen living in Switzerland. I voted for you by absentee ballot in 2016, and I will do so again in 2020. I am registered to vote in Raleigh, North Carolina. Today, I wish to write you about something very close to my heart and often on my mind. In short, it is to save the soul of the nation. To my way of seeing the world, the original sin of our country was and still is the abusive treatment toward the American Indians. My own family was involved in this process. It is not my intention to badmouth my ancestors. Of the many things I detest about politics, the top 5 include how hyperpartisanship causes certain people, not me, to paint themselves into a corner and tell others to stay in their lane. If people argue over the left and right wing, then they lose sight of the rest of the eagle. Who, then, is paying attention to the space between the wings, which is truly the most important? In fact, it could be said that the whole point of the wings is to service the needs of the entire eagle. The worst element by far was the forced acculturation of American Indian children in the boarding school system. They were forced to throw away their language, culture, and religious worldview. This caused a split in American Indian communities between traditionalists and, wait for it, progressives. No other group in the United States of America is a more clear-cut example of the unmitigated disaster that is full-spectrum control of people's life by the federal government than them. They are the real-world proof that if 2020 is lost to the more radical elements of the other side, the American people will come to live the nightmare. I propose forming the Donald John Trump National Atonement Council to address this problem. If this is something you believe could work, I would be happy to fill out the details for you. However, I must warn you that this road, should you choose to go down it, will open up conflict in areas deep within the United States government that, up to now, I am unaware of you having to fight. Of course, I am convinced that I am the man for this particular job. I believe nobody else could do this service better than myself. If you wish to discuss this further, here is my contact information. I was born October the 10th, 1967 in Houston, Texas. July 4th, 2019. Addendum. Dear Mr. President, I wrote my letter to you after seeing you give your address at Normandy for the 75th anniversary of D-Day. Today is another July 4th I spend away from home. After I sent the first copy of my letter to you, your opposition launched their reparations hoo-ha. I find it curious that they used language similar to what I had written you. If your opposition gets what they want, will the Cherokee and other Indian tribes who owned black American slaves also have to pay reparations? What I am proposing to you does not involve taking anything from anyone necessarily. The divide between traditionalists and progressives on Indian land was a deliberate and willful divide and conquer thing. To fix this should not involve making this divide worse. The process of taking this land violated every one of the 10 Commandments. American Indian religion was illegal until 1978. These violations of our own standards that of the Bible and the United States Constitution, are a huge part of why things in America today are so horrible. To put it even more bluntly, God is real and right and wrong exist. If what I propose to you is not done in a good way, in ways chosen by the American Indian people themselves, then God will judge the United States harshly, and one way or another, the United States will be kicked out of America. Again, thank you, Philip William Swisher.